So the afternoon show that I do in Delhi right now is based on the magic only radio as a medium can create. And it's about anonymity and the personal, intimate conversation that a radio jockey can have with a listener without even meeting him or her once. Now, on radio, you're anonymous and you do not have the fear of being seen, being judged. And if the host can give you that comfort, the listener will open up in more ways than one. So my afternoon show is all about how about we swap places and you talk and I listen. So I have become the listener to all those people who call in and talk about anything and everything that they want to talk about. I I actually say this that this world is open and everybody can express themselves freely. We are not doing it because the moment we put up something on social media, people are quick to judge. There are comments judging you. And that's why the real conversations don't come out. But here is a medium where I will not ask your name, nor will you be seen on radio. But let's talk about what you want to talk about. And the honest conversations are decorating the airwaves on the show, uh, the confessions, the willingness to help each other, the empathy, the compassion, the kindness, the will to make it a better society, the will to admit that we did something wrong. It's as human as it gets, and that's why those real conversations are so precious because we seldom see them around. Either we are listening to a whole lot of opinions or we are giving one without even thinking about our own. There is no introspection. And here, when they talk and I listen and I prod them a little, I think without getting confrontationalist, I think we're willing to change. We're willing to change for the better. So, in that sense, that pure radio magic, where one person, there are so many listening to one person who's not an influencer, who's not a celebrity, just another listener, but is connecting with others in such a way that all of them come around and say, yes, that is a problem or that is an issue that we should be talking about. So I think radio as a medium is unifying the community once more. We are getting into social conversations which are useful, which are, helping us in such a way that it's constructive, not confrontationist, which we see on social media all the time. And for a change, I am the listener and they speak.
You talked about listeners hearing this program and also calling in and giving their suggestions of how to help the listener with the problem. Could you give an example of that?
Oh, of course. I remember this one call that came. He was a driver, and he said that he narrated an incident saying that one of his best friends met with an accident 6 months back and passed away during on the operation theater. And he called in to say that in order to fund his operation or surgery, he had taken a loan of 1 lakh rupees. And since then, he's been trying to repay that loan and it's not getting over because the rate of interest is a lot and he's just a driver. And he said, I lost my best friend because he did not survive. And now I'm under a lot of debt. I have 2 kids. I'm unable to support their education. What do I do? Should I end my life? And I put his story out on radio and it was unbelievable. Within a minute, there was a person who perhaps was listening to radio for the first time ever. He called me and he said, I just got into a cab and I was listening to the story of this young man who is under debt and is actually contemplating to end his life because of that. Can I please help him? On radio, I cannot help anybody monetarily, but I can connect to people who can help each other. So I said, why do you want to help him? Said, because I think somewhere inside my conscience is telling me that the story came to me so that I can support him. Please, can we meet and can we help him? Within a day, his debt was over. He gave him the money and But he took a promise. He took a promise from the driver saying, you promise that at your own pace, you will collect this money so that whenever there is somebody else who's in need, you will be able to help him in the same way that I have been able to help you. So, such fascinating stories where there is one person in trouble and the other one rescues him or her out, not because we are connected with blood or we are friends, but just because that person is also a human being and so am I. I think it just makes the world a lot more hopeful, a lot more empathetic, and a lot more beautiful.
And he talked about the opportunity of paying it forward when he could.
Absolutely. There are so many life lessons involved there, and everybody is very consciously trying to do their bit. I think, the best part that I kind of take away from all this is that not even for a second do we feel hopeless under any situation. Because I always, whenever I talk, I'm always trying to figure out that if there is a situation, there's a problem, what is it that I can do? Rather than, why is it not happening? And when I think like that, the first thing that I do is start the conversation, right? Start the conversation, ask people to participate. And then we say, all right, we've done our bit. Now something is bound to change. It can never happen that we'll do our bit and nothing would change. And sometimes we need to do our bit so that we don't change for bad. We don't start taking it. We don't start tolerating it. So it empowers us. If the person calls a radio station and talks about the water problem in his area, he feels very empowered. He feels very satisfied that he has done his bit as a citizen. It's a very positive feeling. And that feeling is not very difficult to achieve. I, as a public figure, I owe it to, the people who are listening to me to tell them that this medium is actually theirs. It's not mine. And that's how they feel very connected. The moment you feel connected as a community, what is it that you can't change? So all of this is extremely empowering and very optimistic.
And extremely satisfying, I would
Extremely
think.
satisfying, yeah.
Why is it important to bring, or for you to bring, generations together through your programs?
I think there are some common set of emotions in every generation. And those are the emotions which help us evolve. I think when we talk about the elderly people, their experiences galore. We can learn so much about life from them. We talk about the young ones, they have dreams and they have aspirations and they can think about the unknown. And you talk about the young people, they're the ones doing it, right? So in order to make anything in life, we need a dream, then we need a design, and then we need to know how to do it. And that's why these three generations can only work work together to achieve it. So whenever there is a problem, there's always an experienced person who talks about it. And then there is a person who is saying, I'm going through the same thing. And there is a person saying, oh my God, this also happens. And that's how, when they come together, it's a beautiful world of coexistence that we create, which we always say, one is great, but many for one is just at another level. It's just amazing and awesome. So I love it when a 7-year-old calls me onto the show to talk about the same thing, and a 70-year-old does the same on the same show. So if we can make a world where we don't have to be divided. I think that's the perfect world. Because that's the reality. That's how we live, and that's how we'll have to coexist. Somewhere in the age of social media, we're forgetting the rule of coexistence. We are all within ourselves a lot. We're only looking at our picture and looking at our likes and looking at our comments. We're not thinking about the other. Well, that's also our responsibility. And we should not be growing distant from each other. We should be, you know, coherent, and we should be a little closer to each other so that we don't feel alone. We are there for each other. It doesn't matter whether we have blood relationships or not. We should just be there for each other.
Your programs are bringing people together,
I
no matter
hope so.
what age they are.
Yeah, I hope so. And I love it when they share these stories. And I love it when they talk about how they used to think in a particular way. Sometimes I always say that even if you have any, you want to tell me something, you don't like something that I said, let's talk about it. But the conversation will have to be civil. That is the only line we will not cross. So conversations must happen. Discussions must happen.
Respectful.
And respectful discussions must happen. And we should agree to disagree. These are the things that we need. We will only learn when we do it, when we face it. And we've got to come out of our cocoon and talk, have social conversations, have individual conversations.
Looking back, what career advice would you give to your younger self with what you know now?
To my younger self, I would say I should have been a little more organized in charting my career growth. I think at some point of time I thought whatever I'm planning, it's just getting all null and void, and something else is happening, and I'm, treading the path that way. I think I should have learned a lot more than I know right now. And though I will still achieve it because I'm always a learner, but I think I should have studied more. I should have, got a lot more insightful about things that I do around me. I think I wasted some time.
What are 3 tips for success?
Mhm.
3 tips for success you'd like to give?
1, preparation and hard work. I think if you're very talented, but you're not hardworking, you'll fail. Your success is going to be for a very limited point of time. But if you're not that talented, but hardworking, you are bound to be successful. So there is no replacement or substitute for hard work. If you're talented, you will have to work hard towards it. If you're not talented, you will still have to work hard. So hard work would always pay. Second thing is be consistent. I think that's what we are lacking. In this age of going viral and everything, we are not being consistent. If we do not do something for over a period of time, it is not going to get established. So definitely consistency. And third career advice that I want to give is please work on upgrading your skills. The world is moving faster than we think, and we need to be at pace with it. We've got to keep upgrading our skills and not limit our potential in a box, because the potential inside us is just enormous. And this is fascinating time to be in because we can learn everything online on our own. We don't have to wait for a trainer. We don't have to wait for a teacher. The teacher is out there. The course is out there. The material is out there. All that we need is will and time. So, yeah, these are the 3 things. If we can adopt these 3, then the world is the limit. Sky's the limit.
Do you have a team of people that work with you on your program?
Well, we do have a team, a programming team, but as far as my show is concerned, no. Because I think they've also kind of let me be, saying that after years of experience, I do have, people who can help me out in a whole lot of things. But as far as designing is concerned, or executing is concerned, or scripting is concerned, I really don't require a lot of assistance. Um, Maybe because I am the senior most in the team, maybe because of that. But yeah, if need be, people are given teams. But I don't have a team as such. I do have a programming team, but not a team for my particular show.
Where do your creative ideas come from?
Life. It comes from life. And there is no other place that it comes from. As I always say, I don't know why people struggle for content. How can we ever struggle for content when every day is a new day? Every morning is a new morning. It's not the same morning.